Alright, I'll have links to all of the gear in the video description. At the end of the video, I'll have a link to a rigging video that shows how to rig a swim bait hook in a soft plastic. Okay, so yeah, this is my second trip on my new winter waters. The first trip was the previous day, and I did really well. I had a slam, including 5 snook. Today's a different day. It looks the same, but I woke to 49-degree air temperature, which is really cold for here, Southwest Florida, and it dropped that water temperature down to 62 degrees. And between that and this kind of stiff breeze blowing in here, that's really going to define this trip. And I had to fight this breeze pretty much the whole trip, so I'm just trying to position myself here on the spot where I had done well the previous day. You know, I was hoping I could just run out and do the same play I did the day before, but no, and here's where my good casting distance is going to work against me. Amazingly, I hit the mangroves on this cast. And it was extra frustrating because I didn't want to blow this spot up by having to go in with the kayak to get the plug back. So in an attempt to get a few casts on this spot that produced so well the day before without spooking everything, I decided I'm going to anchor and throw with another rod. Hey, this whole anchor system there, it's a stick it pin, 7 foot, that's a Yak Attack anchor trolley. I've got a nice little holder system there to lay the anchor pin on the gunnel of the kayak. And hey, I learned all of this from the Salt Strong site. Before I moved down to Florida, yeah, I spent a lot of time on that site looking at the online courses, and that was Tony from Salt Strong kind of laid all that stuff out. I did what he said. It works like a charm. Okay, so now I'm anchored, and so my thought here is I'm really kind of losing faith in the possibility of catching snook this trip. I'm really thinking that the lower water temperatures just shut them down. Now, I have learned that the reds will definitely feed in the colder water, but I'm not so sure that the spook plug is the best thing. I know that they do like gold spoons, so I've got a gold spoon on this rod, and what I'm going to do is just take a few casts in this general area with the gold spoon. And yeah, it is kind of a Hail Mary pass here, but having caught a decent redfish here the day before, I'm thinking that, you know what, it's worth a shot. So off I go with the gold spoon. I have little experience with it, but hey, you know, what do you do? Slow retrieve, keep it up off the bottom. It's weedless. It kind of works on its own. Looks good. But note that that other rod up there is attached to the mangrove, so it's kind of in the way. Oh! Redfish. So at this point, I'm starting to think that maybe this is going to be a redfish trip, except that I have never targeted redfish in my life. So that's all right. Hey, at least I caught one. I'm pretty happy about that. So I did spend some more time in this area, and it just didn't produce, and the wind got worse. I decided I had to make a move, and I saw something. You know, you scan the water, you look for something, because there's miles and miles of water. What I saw was, this is a point that was some distance from where I was. Along the point, and you can barely see it to the left along the mangroves, there was like a slick. And the slick went off the point, and it was maybe, I don't know, the width of a road. And then it went easily a half a mile right across the bay. And on one of the edges of that slick was a crab pot, the only one. So it really led me to believe that there was something special about that slick. I don't know whether that's warmer water or perhaps different salinity, but it's something. And the fact that it was on the edge of a crab pot, I thought that was interesting. So I kind of wondered, you know, maybe there's some current. Anyway, look, I don't know these waters. I know nothing about them. So this was a feature. It was something. So I went for a paddle and headed for this point. Now, as I'm drifting along, straight where my kayak is pointing, there's a light spot. You're going to get to see it a lot closer. I, even at this point, recognize that as an oyster bar, and oyster bars are really excellent structure, and they're very well known for holding redfish. So now I'm reaching for a small version of something that I've done very well on striped bass with. And that's a swim bait hook and a soft plastic. Actually, it's not a soft plastic, it's a Gulp. The actual hook choice and everything, that came also from Salt Strong. But yep, I'm used to this from striper fishing. All right, it's a small redfish, but hey, it's a redfish. I will take it. That's some positive reinforcement for me, having basically, I'm just about throwing this thing for the first time, going across that oyster bar and getting a fish. So certainly I'm going to head back over there. Now, I want to divert to showing something about the Hobie fins. Watch how when I see how those fins go back and forth? When you have them all the way opposite, those fins go flat out to the sides and go flat against the kayak. And I'm showing that because that enables you to drift over very shallow water without hitting bottom with the fins. And that's going to be very, very important as I approach this bar again. And you can see right now, I've got my feet on. I'm going to take them off. I'm resting. You can barely see that oyster bar starting to come into view, and I'm just starting to work over it. But what's going to happen is I'm going to start getting pretty close and getting a little bit shallow. So what I'll do is put my feet on there, push them so that those pedals go in those opposite directions in order to lay those fins flat like you saw, and then I'll be able to drift in very little water. And I do have my rudder down, and wow, that rudder seems to be able to go very shallow, because I have been in very shallow water without any issues with that, and the rudder works well. So there you go, my fins are flat up against the bottom of the kayak as I approach the bar. Out there, that's where I need to go. What are you in, like 2 inches of water? Nice one. Oh, he's pulling me out of deeper water. Yes. Wow. Wow. These things have got power. Nice one. Nice. Wow, really a beautiful and powerful fish. And that thing zipped across that bar so fast. It was pretty amazing. So yeah, that's a nice catch. I'm really happy to pull that off that bar like that. So what I'm going to do now is, after I release this fish, I'm going to paddle well up and out and around that bar, which to make a third approach. And I'm going to be careful and, you know, give it a lot of room because I don't want to spook anything. And the whole spooking of fish is a big issue here because these fish have to worry about dolphins and sharks. And actually, the next video I post, you're going to see a little bit of that. But it's not only that, they have to worry about from overhead because you've got pelicans and ospreys, eagles, all kinds of things. So they're getting it from above and below. So they've got to be real careful. Therefore, they're spooky. Okay, so that's 3 drifts along this bar and 3 fish. You know what's amazing? First of all, what's really important for fishing these waters is to have good polarized sunglasses, and I have like among the best. I've got Salt Life prescription, fantastic glasses. I can see so well, and I can't see those fish. I can't understand it. Boy, the water is so shallow. Somehow these fish manage to blend in. I don't see them. You know, there's no sight fishing component of what we're seeing here at all. You know, I'm blind casting across that bar and waiting for a pickup, and pretty much, you know, you feel tension on the line and set the hook, and that's that. But yeah, it's quite amazing because I can't imagine there's a foot of water on that bar. It's so shallow. All right, 4th approach on the bar. And by the way, this is the same piece of Gulp now for this 4th approach. I haven't changed the Gulp. Yeah, the tail got bitten off. You know, you get a few casts with the is it the Gulp jerk shad, something like a pinfish, something small, rips those tails off. Doesn't matter. You don't need the little tail on there. And hey, I'm not going to take this thing off because it continues to catch. Yeah, right, that's the farthest I've gotten back on the bar without hooking up. That cast went still on the bar, going to work it off the back edge. right, it's 4 for 4, and still that same piece of gulp. But you know what? The next drift up, yeah, that thing's getting pretty hammered. I'm going to put on a fresh piece. Now, I haven't just focused on the bar. I've been going up well ahead of it, fishing these waters up here that also look pretty good, especially since I see some sandy patches, look like holes and stuff, but they're just not producing. I don't hook up until I get to the bar, and yeah, but this still all looks like great water. Oh, nice trout. Look like weak fish, but not quite. Okay, 5 reds, a decent trout. Just need a snook. All right, wishful thinking there. Just wasn't able to get that snook, but hey, it's turned out to be a great trip. I hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you like this channel, please subscribe.